When did your family realize you weren't the failure anymore? Growing up, I wasn't the golden child, not even close. My siblings were the straight A students, the social ones, the ones who made life look easy. They brought home perfect report cards, trophies from sports, and girlfriends who instantly charmed my parents. Me? I was quiet. I didn't care for school, barely scraped by in classes, and never really opened up about my life. My parents loved me, but I could feel the difference. When my brother brought home his report card, they'd say, "We're so proud of you." When I brought mine, they'd sigh and say, "Why don't you learn from him?" When my sister showed off pictures from a date, they'd smile at me and ask, "So, when is it your turn to find someone?" It was never cruel, but it was constant. Little nudges, little comparisons, reminders that I was the one lagging behind. When college applications rolled around, the gap widened. Both of my siblings got accepted into great universities. The celebrations were loud, with hugs, tears, and photos sent to relatives. Me? I didn't get accepted anywhere. My grades weren't good enough, and honestly, I didn't care for it. I told my parents I'd go to community college, but the truth was, I had no plans. Not for school, anyway. While they went off to college, I quietly started working on something different. A side hustle I'd been tinkering with for a while. No one really asked me about it, and I didn't bring it up. While they studied late in libraries, I stayed up building my business. It was slow, but it started to grow. Every setback taught me something. Every small win kept me going. While they chased degrees, I chased opportunities. Years later, we all reunited for Christmas. My parents suggested a family vacation, something fancy, a big gesture since everyone was together again. They booked flights on a well-known luxury airline. The atmosphere at the gate felt familiar. My siblings swapping stories about college life, my parents chatting about work, and me sitting quietly, scrolling on my phone. When we reached the counter, my parents insisted on covering my ticket. "You're probably still in a rough spot," my dad said gently. My siblings even joked about chipping in together to help. I forced a smile, but inside, I felt that old sting. Still the failure, still the one they had to pity. We boarded, found our seats in economy. My siblings laughed, flexing their college degrees in conversation, tossing playful digs at me. And then it happened. A flight attendant stopped at our row, looked straight at me, and smiled warmly. "Hello, sir. Good to see you back. Would you like to be moved to business class like usual?" The words hung in the air. My siblings froze. My parents turned to me, confused. "Wait, what?" my mom whispered. I smiled, shrugged casually. "Yeah, sure. Actually, can I move them too?" "All of them." The flight attendant nodded. Minutes later, my entire family was escorted to business class. Plush seats, champagne waiting, the works. My siblings were speechless, sinking into the kind of seats they'd probably only seen in magazines. My parents just stared at me, waiting for an explanation. That's when I told them how I'd skipped college, how I poured my time into building my business, how I'd been traveling for work, meeting clients, expanding, quietly, without anyone realizing. While they assumed I was struggling, I was growing. The shock turned into pride. For the first time, I wasn't the one being compared. I wasn't the failure. I was just me, and that was enough. That flight wasn't about flexing. It was about finally showing them that I had my own path. Different from my siblings, sure, but successful in its own right. And as my dad raised a glass in business class and said, "We underestimated you," I realized something important. I didn't need their approval anymore, but it still felt good to finally have it.